Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and before we get started, I want to remind everybody tomorrow, this will be over, I think, as of tomorrow morning. Link to it says grow your digital asset portfolio with PolySign. Save 10% for a limited time. I think that limited time, they're doing like 10% off on PolySign private equity for accredited investors on Link to, my sponsor. Links in the top of the description. It says adding PolySign to your portfolio gives you a more balanced thing. And this right here is new, I think. Start your portfolio with $2.5K minimum investment. It used to be 10, then it was 5, now it's 2,500 is your minimum investment. So that's a killer deal right there. All right, check this out. Stephen Narioff is on the scene now, folks, and this is getting interesting. The tweet where he retweeted my Lowell Ness tweet has now got, well, let's check in here. Let's check and see what it is. Right now, we are at 856,000 views on that tweet, where the comment he made. Check this out. This guy called it. He said, I've got a feeling this is going to break 1 million views by the end of the weekend. He may very well be correct. We shall see. Now watch this clip. This is a clip from Wheezy that he had put out in September 21st of 2022. Check this out. This is Stephen Narioff on stage.
So you come up with this idea, now you need the lawyer to opine that this is a good thing, that
right?
It's legal, that you can now, because of this, you can do what we now call an ICO.
Yeah, I mean, they thought I was pretty much out of my mind, and it was fortunate that we did have some higher authority, the former head of the SEC, to chime in, and we eventually made the argument that due to this functionality, I don't think we want to go to the legal aspect of it, so this is more about what did I learn from it, that because by utilizing this functionality, we could get into a safe zone. And at the time, safe zone just really meant, at worst case, because we had got an opinion, we probably wouldn't be put in prison. And we weren't trying to do anything illegal. We were trying to do this. And this wasn't, right now we're in the Wild West. Back then it was just, there was no way around.
All right. Look at this from John Deaton right here. This, folks, I don't know, many of you that were around during ETHgate, you might know how massive all of this is. I mean, it's massive. Whoop. You know what I just dropped? This is a coin that was given to me. I can't remember if his name is public. But this is given to me by a friend in the XRP community. It's a coin with an X on it, and I was sitting here fidgeting with it while I'm talking. You know who you are. Your name's Jeff. I can say that. Which was a cool thing he gave me. All right, so check this out. Long time ago, I put out a timeline thread of indisputable facts and authored the Ethereum Free Pass article published on Crypto Law. That article and all the facts I shared didn't bring me new friends in the crypto industry. I was labeled a conspiracy theorist. Remember, we've all been called conspiracy theorists. We're grand conspiracy theorists, right? That's what we were, right? I'm writing conspiracy theorists. I'm a proud conspiracy theorist because I was right. We were right. For stating facts that to this day have never been refuted or claimed inaccurate. In fact, all of the arrogant, and I do mean arrogant, not all, but the arrogant attorneys in the crypto community, some of them are massively arrogant, even they get very quiet when these facts come up. I can't even get them to acknowledge ETHgate. I can't get them to acknowledge anything, answer anything. And these are people that love to let you hear how smart they think they are. Chris Dixon of A16Z blocked me because he blocked me too, proud badge of honor, blocked me because I shared the fact that in January 2018, Jay Clayton told him to put together a small working group and produce a memo of what they wanted the SEC to do and to give it to Bill Hinman, or similar words to that effect. To be clear, I didn't say or imply that Chris Dixon did anything wrong. Neither did I. I did note, however, that it was clear that Ripple wasn't invited to be a part of this hand-picked small working group. Even though XRP was, at the time, the second largest crypto by market cap for the most part of 2018, ETH was number 2 and XRP 3. But there were moments when XRP overtook Ethereum, including in January 2018. Sharing video posted by Digital Asset Investor, I pointed out that attorney Lowell Ness claimed that Hinman's speech closely tracked. I'm sitting here getting a phone call. I can tell you who's calling me. That's the official cool guy of the Digital Asset Investor channel. I'll call him back later as soon as I get done with this video. I pointed out that attorney Lowell Ness. I also pointed out that ETH was the only token referenced in the safe harbor written by Ness. Of course, I also pointed out that Hinman was paid millions by sharing profits from his firm that was a member of the EEA and was also pushing an IPO of a company that sold ETH mining equipment. I said that these massive conflicts violated 18 U.S.C. 208. Later, after being called a conspiracy theorist, we learned that Hinman was told by the SEC Ethics Office to stop violating the law, yet he continued to do so. The Hinman emails and his deposition testimony proved many of the things that we had said for 2 years. CryptoLaw.us, using the efforts of XRP Sleuths, created a chronological video timeline posting some of the relevant involved players' video clips. The one thing that the public community has not had, however, is a true insider. Ooh, that's a thumbnail. Thank you, John. That is a thumb freaking nail. True insider. Does this mean we have an insider now? An inside source? I've always wanted one of those. A true insider who was there and knows everything. I like that too, John. Knows everything. Oh man, John. Thumbnail sponsored by John Deaton. Who knows everything and has the receipts. Another thumbnail has the receipts. All right. So you don't understand how long we've been waiting for a break like this, folks. You don't understand. It appears one of them, Stephen Narioff, is starting to speak out. By the way, we don't forget that Joseph Grunfest, after helping ETH through Narioff, was the one who wrote to Clayton and the SEC pleading with them not to file a lawsuit claiming XRP was a security. There isn't a person in the world that can challenge the credibility of Joe Grunfest. He essentially said giving ETH a free pass and attacking XRP was morally, ethically, and legally wrong. In fact, folks, not only is Joseph Grunfest a good guy in this thing, there's another attorney who I've always said is one of the good guys, or good girls, however you want to say that. Nancy Wotas, to me, is one of the people that was an innocent, good person in this equation. Okay, I always like to give her credit because even though we've shown a lot of her videos, I won't say I felt bad because the truth is the truth, but at times I know that a lot of this probably did put a lot of pressure on Nancy Wotas, but the truth is the truth, and she's a truth teller in my opinion, and we showed a lot of her words. And God bless Nancy Wotas is all I got to say, because she was one of the core people on video that helped us put this thing together. She didn't help us. I'm saying that we were able to piece it together because she was out there telling the truth. I have a feeling things are about to get interesting. From my research and the research of my sleuth friend, Stephen Narioff might just know where all the bodies are buried. If he does, and kept a copy of the map showing the location, it's about to get real interesting. Oof, folks, you have no. Let me stress by changing my voice to make you understand. You have no idea how huge this is. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now I put this video together. This guy did a video in the last couple of days on regulatory capture, and I pieced all this together for you. It's 4 minutes. It's 4 minutes worth your time. Listen to this so you understand where this is all going, folks.
George Stigler. He's the 1982 Nobel Prize winner in economics and the father of regulatory capture. This is his most famous quote. As a rule, regulation is acquired by the industry and is designed and operated primarily for its benefit. I like to say regulation is the friend of the incumbent. Quick audience interaction moment. That's the one thing I want you to take away. So on the count of three, scream, regulation is the friend of the incumbent. 1, 2, 3. Yes.
I can attest that JP Morgan was there right from the start before public mainnet was even launched.
Amen. All right. So this is the only slide I have with bullets, because this is going to be a 2-minute regulatory capture 101, all from George Stigler's notes. The first thing he says, in regulatory capture, a special interest is prioritized over the general interest of the public. Sound familiar from my other stories? Leading to a net loss for society. A net loss for society, that's important. The two mechanisms they usually use is the second bullet, limited market entry and price protection, or even price increases, which I'll show you more of. And then the mechanisms of influence are money, made worse by Citizens United, exposure, just time around people, and then 3, revolving doors. This is super important, and I'll show you one great example of that. That's people moving in and out. When they interviewed Christie on the pod the other day, they were talking about this in the military.
So you seem like pretty chill. You're like, oh, we're just going to take care of this ourselves, and you're not worried about any of the token projects.
I think it's prudent for the SEC to let people know that they're watching. And
when we look at how Ether today is operating, at least, we see a highly decentralized network, and we don't see a central third party. If we look at Ether and the highly decentralized nature of the networks, we don't see a third party promoter where applying the disclosure regime would make a lot of sense. So
Ethereum violated the law in the SEC's view when it issued its tokens. He said that in the speech, even though like consensus says, oh, no, that's not what he said. That's what he said. He said, but then he said, look, the securities laws really, it doesn't add anything now because Ether is decentralized. Again,
they're saying that Ether used to be a security and now it's not a security anymore.
They said that without opining about whether it was ever a security or not, we do not consider it a security.
the SEC is tooled up now and very aware. Today it would shut down a sale structured like the EOS sale before it was able to turn on its first billboards in Times Square.
Remember, Bill Hinman couldn't find a third-party promoter.
So instead, sorry about that, EOS. So instead of the vertical.
So we are big friends and fans of that organization, I think.
So very much in the United States. We had Valerie from the SEC, and so we're very familiar with many people at the SEC.
Even with all the good work that our friends at the SEC, our friends at the SEC, there's an SEC official, I think her name is Hester Pierce.
You mentioned Jamie Dimon, so let's bring it back to Jamie and JP Morgan. What do you think is going to be the thing that they will have to change the most or lose market share and somebody else is going to do better, faster, serve their clients better than JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs?
You can just hear the bankers panicking right now.
But what
feel the panic in their voices.
Okay, check this out. R3 seems to be facing financial difficulties, and he says, imagine if Ripple ends up acquiring R3. Wouldn't that be something? That would be epic right there. Ripple purchase of R3. Check this out. This is Norman Reed. Just for a little history lesson for you. Norman Reed was the general counsel for Ripple back in the day, if you'll see here, 2015. Norman Reed is the guy that signed off. He signed the Ripple settlement with FinCEN that called XRP a virtual currency in 2015. He signed that deal with the assistant U.S. attorney at the time, one Katie Haun. The same Katie Haun who's all up in some Andreessen Horowitz, worked for them, literally worked hand in hand with Chris Dixon, the guy that Jay Clayton went and met with and said he wanted him to run the venture capital, head up the venture capital working group and write me a memo, right? And she's the one that was sitting right on the front row the day before at Stanford while Jay Clayton and Joseph Grunfest were on stage. And then right after the Bill Hinman speech, Katie Haun gets a job with Andreessen Horowitz literally within like 7 or 8 days. All of a sudden they announced that she's working for Andreessen Horowitz with Chris Dixon. That's the fact, Jack. And now Norman Reed is he's going to be the new CEO of Binance US. This should be interesting. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe. Hit the like button. Tell your friends and family that today's thumbnail was designed by John Deaton. Well, not designed by John Deaton, but inspired by John Deaton. Thank you for listening.